Hello sports lovers, welcome to Met Sports TV. In today's episode, we are lucky to have a three-time bantamweight champion, and he's sitting with us on Time with the Icons. Before I introduce him, kindly remember to subscribe to the channel, press the like button, share our content so others can enjoy. And today my guest is Joseph King Kong Agbeko. Welcome, champ.
Thank you, boss.
Okay. A lot of people know you, Joseph King Kong Agbeko, a former world champion. How did you begin boxing? Or let's start from the beginning. Who are you?
I'm Joseph King Kong Agbeko. That is me. I am me. I became a boxer by finding myself. I feel and believe that I am born to do this. When I was very little, while we play football in my area in Sokora, I was asking myself, what do I want to do? And I said, okay, football. And I was like, no, football has like 11 players, you know, for a team. And how can you shine among the 11 players? You know, I was thinking, I said, okay, if I want to be a footballer, then I would prefer to be a goalkeeper because I'll be alone. Then I can shine on my own, you know. So things were going through my mind. And then one time I was like, no, I have to be a boxer. I have to be like Azuma Nelson. It came into my mind because at my younger my name is King Kong. As my real name, my birth name is King Kong. So in my neighborhood, my mates and stuff, every time we have to fight. And so every time we have winners. So I'm one of the people that I always beat them. And then in my school too, it's like that. People that sometimes me myself, I know this guy, I can't beat him. But whenever something happened between me and him, he doesn't even make an effort to fight me. Like he feel like he has lost already. So I was beating them. So I feel like, okay, the fighting game will be good for me. So I entered, and when I started, everything was going on good for me. So that made me believe I was born to do it.
Okay. You started juvenile boxing at age 8. Who were your mates at that time?
I started juvenile boxing. I came to meet Alfred Tete, Alfred Odai, Malik Jaber, Odate Lamte, who is late right now, may so rest in peace. His son is Alfred Lamte. Alfred Lamte's father. That's Odate.
Bomba.
Yeah,
Showtime.
Alfred Lamte, his father is Odate Lamte. He's also in the team as a juvenile boxer when I came. We were all under the street academy formed by Oko Ata Blata, the one at the center.
Okay.
So he's the one that organized boxing for us. So those are some of my mates during my juvenile stage.
Okay. So, turning amateur, did you go to any games? Did you represent Ghana in any games?
Yeah, I represented Ghana in few games, from Africa Championship and so on to the Commonwealth. I couldn't go to the Olympics, but I went to the Commonwealth.
Okay. So what influenced your decision in turning pro at a very young age?
We went to the Commonwealth Games, and my hope and my everything was meant to win a gold medal at the Commonwealth Games. And when we got there, I fell sick on the first day. Like when we got there, the following day I fell sick. And after I lost my first fight, and then I felt okay. So I said to myself that no, when we get home, I'm going professional straight. So the day we landed from the airport, I went straight to my manager, who is formerly known as Thomas Okai, now Ni Gbese, Nya Ibonte. So I went straight to him, and then I told him, I want to go pro. And he said, okay. So a lot of people were saying, no, Joseph, don't go, you are too young, this. The Ghana boxing, the amateur boxing, this thing, they said, no, they will allow me to go. Everybody was calling me to come. When I go to them, a lot of advice. The former minister, Nikwe Mensah, he called me to come. I didn't go, not because I want to disobey him, but I know he would
convince you to
convince me to say. And if he say I won't be able to do anything, so I didn't go. So I said to myself that if I can't win gold at the because I couldn't win gold at the Commonwealth Games, I'm going to win world title. So I'm going straight to professional.
Okay. So who was your coach when you turned pro?
My coach was Coach Tejani, Alowe.
Okay.
Coach Alowe. He trained me during the amateur. I've trained through other coaches from the beginning. I've trained through other coaches. But Alowe, Atokwashi is where I settled. So Alowe is the one who trained me from the amateur until I turned professional. He is the one who was training me through professional until some time before I moved to the US, and then I started working with Coach Adama. Adama was Alowe's apprentice as an assistant coach. He was next to Alowe, but he moved to the US. So, and he used to also spend more time with us during the amateur as well. So when I got there, and then me and him continued the work over there.
Okay. Let's take a look at your first 10 bout as a professional. You fought in 5 countries in West Africa. You fought in, the first bout was in Ghana, second Togo, Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana. Then I think you fought in Ghana twice, then became national champion in your 7th fight. Then after that you fought in Nigeria, all within 10 bouts as a pro. Mostly boxers during their first 10 bouts fight local bouts. Why was there a rapid transition in your?
Yeah, I came from a very tough gym, Atokwashi. Atokwashi is known as one of the gyms that their boxers are always prepared, very, very conditioned. So my coach was taking me through serious conditioning training. So we were ready for everything. So the fights were coming quickly, and we were also ready to go to take it.
The first championship you won was the national championship, and it was in the first 7 months when you turned pro. How was the feeling like?
Oh, it was normal to me.
I think it was against Malik
Jaber. Yeah.
And
that was my first title before I fought for the West Africa.
Malik was you were mates during the amateur, and he was giving you tough time. But when you turned pro,
you know, the fight against Malik has always been one of my memorable fights. I mean, coming up during that fight, we were all top. We were all like prospects, you know. So we all live close, you know. Okay. So when Believer told me, oh, they want to do the fight, me and Malik, and I was like, no, it's not necessary, we won't fight, you know. So I went to Malik's managers because they are just next to me. They are just next to our house. I live at Bese. I grew up in Bese. So when I went to them and they told me, oh, Malik was there, and I asked Malik, oh, Believer said this, and he said, yes, we should fight. Then I didn't have anything to say again, so I allowed the fight, and then I got to the time we have to fight, and we fought.
Okay. You came out successful, and among your first 10 bouts, mostly you were knocking people, you were retiring people very early. But the first time you went 12 rounds was when you traveled to South Africa.
Yeah.
That was the only time, that was the first bout in which you went full length of the pre-arranged 12 rounds with Johannes Maisa in South Africa.
Yeah.
What was it different from the other fights
I consider that fight as my toughest fight till date. You know, I went to South. You know, South Africa is a higher altitude area. So coming from Ghana, getting to South Africa the same week of the fight, like 3-4 days before the fight, you know, there's no way you can
get
adjusted to the weather. So the boxer was very, very ready for me. And when we started, by third, fourth round, I was gone. My legs, my heart, everything was out of me. So even the commentator, they predicted that they are not sure I could even get to the sixth round, you know. But as we go through, and then from 6, I think my heart started getting adjusted to everything, and it was tough. It was tough, but God took me out safely, and I won.
After that bout, that prepared you to go to Europe for your first international bout again, Sidorenko, a bronze medalist, a former bronze medalist in the Olympics.
Yeah.
And he's a former world champion too. And that fight, you lost.
Mm-hmm.
Did it dampen your spirit because you were coming from back-to-back wins,
you know,
and all of a sudden that gets truncated?
There is something about boxing, you know. When you are going to fight an undefeated fighter, it's like one of the toughest things. If a boxer, you're going to fight someone who is undefeated, because his brain is fixed. He doesn't know what is called defeat. His heart hasn't accepted that. His mind doesn't tell him anything like that. So whenever he's going into the ring, his confidence level is very, very high. You know, it's always very high, because Sidorenko was an Olympic medalist, like one of Germany's great fighter, and I was coming from the UK because I was based in the UK then.
Okay.
So I was coming from the UK, and then went there for the fight. That was for the WBA International or something. So that was when he was building himself for the WBA world title. So I actually won that fight. I didn't lose that fight. I actually won that fight. The whole place, you know, sometimes we don't like to talk about racism and so on, but that was what took place, because a lot of things happen, you know, and at the end of the day, they said I've lost, and I had nothing to do. I cried in the dressing room. I cried because I felt like I never expected a loss in my record, so it was a big blow to me.
Okay, at what point did you sign with Duncan? Was it before you became a world champion or after you became a world champion?
I got signed on to Duncan for the fight for the world championship. You know, Duncan is a businessman, very smart businessman. He makes sure his money is safe. You know, I'm an African boxer, and they believe in the Spanish fighters, you know. So
Mexico,
yeah,
Puerto Rico,
those they believe in
Cuba.
them. Yeah. So I was in the top 15 world rankings. So his fighter was going to fight, and then the opponent pulled out. So that was like 3 weeks to the fight. So they called my manager and asked if I'll be available, and I said yes, it's mine. Let's go. So I went into the fight. So before I go into the fight, Duncan made sure that you have to commit yourself with him before going into the fight, because anything can happen. In case you win, then he know he's still safe. The title is still with him. So that was how we got signed.
So that was before the Perez fight, which was a world title fight.
Yeah, Luis Perez.
You won the Perez fight,
yeah,
and took the red and gold strap from him. How was it like? Because you could not progress in the Commonwealth Games, and now you turned pro because you wanted to be a world champion, and now finally you have the red and gold.
It's like you've met like your soulmate, you know. Winning a world title for the first time, the joy was like super great. It's something that I've dreamt from the day I decided that I want to be a boxer. So actually, you know, I couldn't. I realized that after I won the fight, because even going into the fight, preparing like the 3 weeks, the media journey for the fight and all, it wasn't in my head that I'm going to fight for a world title. I just pictured it as one of the normal fights that I've been fighting. So that thing wasn't in me. That pressure too wasn't in me. But immediately they stopped the fight, and then I saw how, you know, that was when I realized that, wow, you've achieved it. Yeah, so it was a great feeling.
And you gave him a rematch?
No, he didn't even ask for it.
He did not ask for it.
Yeah, because you know he can't do anything.
Okay, you defended the title twice.
Yeah, I defended the title to to another Perez. I forgot his name. I defended the title to someone. Then I think I defended it two times, and then the third one I lost, and I came back.
Okay. Yeah. So after losing the belt, you had a rematch clause.
Yeah.
So you are now coming in as a challenger. After
I didn't have a rematch clause. After losing the belt, I was still the number one.
The number one in the ranking. So you were mandatory.
Yeah, to fight him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it was immediately after that.
You know, after I lost to Yoni Perez. Yoni Perez fought. I think he defended the belt to Abner Mares. He fought Mares, and I think it was draw. I think he fought someone. I think he fought Mares or someone, and it was draw. So I have to fight him again, and that time it became it was the 4-man tournament. There was a competition going on called Super 6.
Okay.
Organized by Showtime, and I was a Showtime fighter. So they pick all the top 6 fighters at the division and make them fight so that they can get a unified champion. So during that time, there was Nonito Doné, and there was Nonito Doné and one other fighter, but they didn't want to be part of the competition. I was available, Yoni Perez, Abner Mares, and then Victor Chinya. So Nonito Doné doesn't want to be in.
Put out.
Yeah, because it was all crack this thing, so he didn't join this thing, and then we became 4. So that was when the pairing, I have to fight Yoni Perez first.
Okay, and you regained your title.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. After that, you fought Mares in the same tournament for the. Mares had the WBC silver belt as at that time, and you had the IBF World Championship. How was preparation towards that fight like?
I work with one promoter who is one of the best in the game. He will make you easily if he say he want to make you, and he's still the same person who can destroy you if he want to destroy you. And more time working with him is like with a higher percentage. It's not favorable to the boxers, you know. So I lost my first fight with Mares on a controversial decision.
It was a majority decision.
The first fight was controversial, and then the second fight, I think I was beaten by my promoter.
Okay, that means your second fight. That means Duncan did not support you.
It's not like Duncan did not support me. Duncan actually beat me. You know, Duncan actually beat. You know, people doesn't see what goes on
Behind the scene.
Behind the scene or before a fight, people doesn't know.
Okay.
The only thing people see is the fight is happening in the ring. How you perform is how they judge you. But a lot of things goes on behind the scene before a fight. A lot of things goes into your preparation as well. And Duncan beats me for that fight.
Okay, you had legal issues with Duncan for so many years.
Yeah.
Was it about the same time when the legal issues happened?
During that fight, I said Duncan beat me because he gave me a lot of frustration. He's my promoter who's supposed to be behind me, he's supposed to push me, he's supposed to motivate me. But he broke me down throughout my training camp. You know, today it is this, tomorrow is another thing. So my brain mentally,
you were not focused.
I wasn't okay. My preparation wasn't. Even at some point, we have to break camp. Thinking the fight is not happening anymore, we have to break camp. And then the next minute, it is this. So I got committed with Showtime, and at a point I can't pull out, so I have to fight. So mentally, physically, I wasn't ready.
Who was your manager? Who was your manager at that time?
It was Vinny Scopino.
The Italian American.
Yeah.
Okay.
So after that fight, that was when I took Duncan to court.
Okay. So it rendered you inactive for over a year.
No, like for a long time.
Yeah, you were inactive. So in a boxer, like they say, the greatest sin to commit in boxing is to stay inactive.
Yeah.
So how were you feeling?
Yeah, that time.
Because like they say, if someone calls you to go and fight, that is when you have, when your manager calls you that there's a fight, that is when you have a job. If not, you are technically unemployed.
Yeah, you know, we were in court for like a little over 2 years. We were in court for a little over 2 years, and I was in court with him for my rights.
Okay.
You know.
Did you win the case?
I didn't win the case because I realized that it was also hurting me because he stopped giving me fights. And then when we went to court, so that we can, cancel the contract with him, and then I can work with a different promoter whilst we're still in court. We weren't approved by the court, so we have to continue to work. And then I started giving me fights at places like Nicaragua, you know, those crook areas. And I don't have to accept those fights because technically he wanted to mess me up. So I stayed away from all those fights. But later on I realized it wasn't helping me, so I have to withdraw the case from court.
When did you sign with Bob Arum?
Yeah. After I got released from Duncan, I got an aggressive release from Duncan, and then I got signed on by Bob Arum.
From one
to another. It was from frying pan to fire. You know, I got there. You know, it was a good experience from both of them.
So who is the lesser evil?
Evil is evil. There's no lesser. After I finished, like I got released from Duncan and I went to Bob Arum. And then on my first fight with Bob Arum, Duncan had the power to earn 50% of my purse going into my fight, which was being promoted by Bob Arum at a state where Duncan doesn't have power to make income from. You know, that was in Atlantic City.
Okay.
And I think Duncan had a problem with the commission in Atlantic City, so he was not allowed to make money out of Atlantic City. And I was fighting in Atlantic City. So that means I'm supposed to be free from any harm that you want to cause me.
But he still followed you.
But even my people were able to make it available for him to earn 50% of my purse during that time of that fight. That was against Guillermo Rigondeaux.
Rigondeaux, yeah, the Cuban.
Yeah.
But because 50% is way too much, because promoters are not to earn 50%.
No, he came with a
lawsuit.
With a strategy from the court. You know, we were in court for a long time. So he came with, he came with, you know, they are all, you know, the boxing business is a mafia business.
So,
yeah.
Okay. So that was your first fight with Top Rank was with Rigondeaux, which you lost.
Yeah.
It was a world title fight.
Yeah, we fought for two titles. That was for the WBO and the WBA world title. You know, Rigondeaux is like a very, very, very skilled, very skilled, very intelligent fighter. Because I won't take anything away.
He's a product of the Cuban Boxing Academy.
From him, he's 3 times
world champion,
Olympic, 3 times Olympic gold medalist, or 2 times.
No, he's
Olympic,
a 2-time,
and then 1 time world championship gold medalist. So automatically, it's world championship. It's equal as Olympics. So it's like 3 times. So he's too technical, you know. But going into that fight, I had lost the fight way before the fight.
Because the money issue?
Because of, you know, it's like sometimes there are some things that's supposed to bring out the hunger in you. Some can also kill the same spirit. And going into the fight, I feel like, what am I going to do? I'm going to fight just for King to take the money. Because, you know, it was a whole distance. So I didn't go in with myself. I went into the ring just to fight, give the fans what they want to watch, and then go home.
Okay. So after that fight, you came back to Ghana to rebuild your structure back to world championship level. And you fought a couple of people by your old friend or rival, Malik Jabel, was in the ring again with you.
Yeah.
This time the fight went 10 rounds. Yeah. How different was it from the first one?
I was just polishing myself. I was just trying to play with my body, just to go the rounds, just to build myself for another fight. So I have to allow myself to go more rounds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good. So now, you were supposed to fight last 2 weeks. Face Butler.
Yeah, Paul Butler.
Paul Butler in the UK. What happened? The fight did not take place, and Butler, you were replaced by Garcia for that fight to happen. MTK Global. I watched the full fight. It was on YouTube. We heard there were visa issues. What happened?
I would say the fight came at a short notice, and then because of that, we weren't able to meet a lot of requirements. I mean, for us to be able to travel out and participate in the fight. I saw a lot of stories that says Joseph Agbeko couldn't go due to visa issues. Yes, it was due to visa issues because we didn't get to the embassy on time to be able to make the embassy timelines. So even on about 2-3 days to the fight, we still haven't even gotten any notification from the embassy for us to even know that they have received our passport or our application. So all those things started coming after the fight, and it was just yesterday I went for my visa. So now we are waiting for MTK to give us a new date for the fight.
Okay. At a point we were training with Roy. You were training in Roy Jones' gym, and Floyd. So how was the experience with like these are giants of boxing? Roy Jones Jr. was pound for pound number 1. Floyd was also pound for pound number 1. How was it like training alongside these guys?
You know, Roy and Floyd are, I would say, professors in boxing, as our boxing professor Zunzum Nelson. You know, there are people that they don't have to teach you. You know, that is, whenever I'm talking to Azuma Nelson, the professor, whenever I'm talking to him, I enjoy his conversation. These are people, Azuma Nelson, Floyd, Roy. When you are around them, just not as they putting you in the gym to train you, just listen to them to talk, Even from whatever they say, you learn a lot from their from everything they say. So, working around Floyd and Roy taught me a lot in boxing.
Okay. And now to the Olympic team. I saw you visited them. What word of advice did you give them as a former world champion?
I think the guys who has qualified for the Olympics, they are great fighters. They are very, very good. They've been training very hard, even though I personally think they didn't get what they deserved, you know, because it takes a lot to qualify for Olympics. A lot of fighters has gone in there and they couldn't qualify, and they were able to qualify. And I think for fighters who qualified for Olympics game, that is like the highest sports, the highest competition when it comes to amateur boxing. I think they didn't get the necessary preparation for Olympics, but at the same, even at that, I pray and wish all of them very, very well so that they can win, gold medal for Ghana. But I think the country didn't give them enough.
Okay. So, Togbi Kaleto, the warrior, how you were given this name after winning the world title in Soga Copper. How has this propelled you to the next level?
I would say I am who I am. I am King Kong. I am born naturally a warrior. It's in me. Togbi Kaleto was given to me by the Volta Traditional Council, but that is my identity. That's how I was born. Yeah.
Okay. One thing before I forget. In all your world title fights, what role did government play in making you a world champion?
When it comes to professional boxing, I don't think the government plays a role, which I always talk about this, you know, and boxers in Ghana are not united, and majority of them too, they don't wish each other well, you know, but I think if the boxers come together to be united, they will be able to get what they deserve from the government, because the government, I'm not talking about the current government, but all governments, every government that has passed, you know. I started from the ex-president Rawlings' time, and boxing was so good.
You are very close to him. May he so rest in perfect peace.
Yeah, may so rest in peace, Daddy. You know, boxing was so good during that time. The government was in support, fully support around that time. But after his time, the government has not been giving boxing what they deserve. This is a sport that has won Ghana the highest Olympic medal. The highest Olympic medal came from boxing. That was from Iconz Senior, you know.
Silver medalist.
Silver medal. And when you go to professional, this is a sport that has given Ghana about 10 world titles, 9, 10 or 11 or something.
9. Okay, you can argue for Game Boy 10.
Yeah. It has given Ghana a lot of big achievements. you know, which football hasn't done that. Football has produced a lot of footballers who has gained they've made their achievement outside the country, in Europe or wherever. But for national-wise, football hasn't done anything compared to what boxing has done for the country. Boxing is a sport that takes children out of the street, you know. And I would say boxing is equally as the street, if not more. And this is a sport that we have to support in order to reduce crime, to reduce a lot of negative things on the streets. And it's a sport that people put their life on the line, knowing that even on your easy day, you see blood. And the same way, but young, hungry boxers always put their life on the line for this. And they don't get enough recognition, they don't get enough support from the government. We are not getting it, and we have to speak up, we have to stand to get what we deserve from the government.
Okay. Champ, before we end, what is next for you? What is next? Are you looking forward to a final eliminator, a world title fight? What do you want next in boxing?
What do I want? I would say I have nothing to prove.
Oh, prove that you have proven yourself.
Yeah, because at least I have good records as a boxer. I've at least done what every boxer could do to feel okay. I've gotten there. I'm currently ranked #1 by the WBO, and I think I should be given a chance to fight for the world title one more time, and you know, it wouldn't be good to waste the opportunity like that, because my people, like Ghanaians, the media, they are always on top of me, trying to retire me, you know. No.
Some of us want to
see. In Ghana, right? You know, every time they're focusing on, you know, we should be enjoyed while we are here. I still have the passion in me, and gradually the media is killing it gradually, and I just beg the media for them to just allow me, as being at the #1 spot, they should allow me just to, to just end that opportunity
at a world title
and fight for the world title, and maybe win it at least for the last time. So they should come, you know, whenever they have an interview with me, they should come up with positive questions that will, bring out the best in me.
You heard it from the champ himself. He needs the support of Ghana and the whole media at large so that he can bring us a world title again. It's been a while since the last world champion we had was Richard Comey. He is also trying to push for a final eliminator. So let's support our boxers so that they can bring us honors. Thank you for watching. Keep subscribing to the channel, like, comment, stay positive. Au revoir. Bye-bye.